Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. Today we are going to look at the 2023 lineup of KTM motorbikes. And this is actually a lot bigger variety of motorbikes than I thought. I didn't realize KTM had this many bikes. So let's get started. Okay, so before we do get started, actually, a couple things I want to say. First, and I know most of you probably already know this is something I've learned as I've done all this research. Motorbike models and years don't work the same as cars. So a car, they're going to put out a new model every year, quote unquote new model, even if nothing changes. So like a Toyota Corolla, there's going to be a 2020 version, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, etc., even if nothing changes. With motorcycles, apparently it's not the same thing. If they may not put out a new model if there's nothing changing on the previous year's model. So there's a 2022, 390 Duke KTM. There's no 2023, but that doesn't mean 2022 that doesn't mean the 390 is discontinued. It just means there's no updates or changes for 2023. So they just left the 2022 model as is. And so I realize that I've been saying that, okay, there's no 2023 model for whatever model we're talking about at the time. It doesn't mean that they're discontinued. It just means that they didn't make any changes or anything that they would label it a 2023 model. They're just going to continue with the 2022, so to speak. Hope that makes sense. Something I've learned, and I know that I'm sure most of you already knew that, but anyway. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is future videos. So I'm getting close to reaching the end of the models that I'm going to talk about here. I've still got Moto Guzzi and probably Ducati and Royal Enfield. I think that's about it. And of course Harley. Don't want to forget Harley, but that's not till mid-January. And everybody's going to be doing stuff when Harley does their big reveal event. In January, so YouTube will be flooded with that. But I will be doing a video on Harley once they do their updates on the website. So anyway, looking for ideas on what you'd like to see. I'm probably going to do a lineup of Cardo communicators versus Senna communicators once I'm done with the motorbike lineups. But if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see, what you think would be interesting, if you want me to take a particular model and compare it with its competitors, anything like that, be happy to do anything like that. If you have any ideas, leave a comment below, let me know. I'd appreciate any suggestions. So moving on to the KTM lineup. KTM's website sucks. I've been putting together all this information pretty much exclusively from the manufacturer's websites, and KTM, half their bikes don't have the specs, so they don't have weight or seat height or tank size or price on a pretty decent portion of the bikes. And so I will give you what I have, and I don't think this is just they missed putting it out on the website, because I went to one of the dealers' websites and the dealer doesn't have the information either. So I think KTM just hasn't released it. I don't know if they haven't released it yet and they're going to in the future, or if they're just not releasing those details for those bikes. They have a lot of good information on the bikes, a lot of features, a lot of what's great about this bike, what makes this bike unique, whatever, that kind of stuff. But the basic level specs that I've been putting on my videos, they don't have much of. So I'm going to do what I can, and we're going to go from there. All right, so we start off with the electric bikes. The SXE3 is a motocross, or as they call it, a mini cross for kids. It is a 648 watt hours of energy, 30 minutes run time at full top speed. They say about 2 hours of run time at normal speeds. It has an adjustable seat height at 21.8 to 23.6 inches, and the bike runs at 5,000. The SXE5 Minicross is comparable to a 50cc engine, 907 watt-hours of energy, 24.2 to 26.2 adjustable seat height for 5,500. Next we have the Freeride EXC. It is an Enduro style bike, 35.8 inch seat. I don't know, I couldn't find any watt hours or any energy ratings on it, but it runs 11,300. Next we have the eDrive. Not really motorbikes per se. These are basically electric bicycles but without pedals. Just like bicycles, these are sized by the wheel size. So we have a 12 inch, a 16 inch, an 18 inch, and 20 inch wheels. I don't have prices on the 12 and 16. The 18 is $2,750 and the 20 is $3,200. Now we move to the motocross two-stroke engines. All the motocross bikes are single-cylinder engines. We start with the 50SX Mini. This is a 50cc kids bike, auto transmission, 22-inch seat, 0.6 gallon tank, 88 pounds weight dry, 4,200 bucks on this one. The 50SX, not mini, but 50SX, 50cc auto, 26.2 inch seat height, 0.6 gallon tank, 91.5 dry weight in pounds, and 4,700. 50SX Factory has a bunch of upgrades on it and special graphics, colors for 5,600. The 65SX is a 65cc 6-speed, 29.5 inch seat height, 1 gallon tank, 117 pounds dry for 5,500. The 85SX 1714. This is an 85cc 6-speed with a 17-inch front wheel and a 14-inch rear wheel, 33.5 inch seat height, 1.4 gallon tank, 148 pounds dry for 6,600. And then the 85SX 1916 is a 19-inch front wheel, 16-inch rear wheel, has a 34.5 inch seat height, so 1 inch difference for 6,900. The 125SX is a 125cc 6-speed, 37.7 inch seat, 1.9 gallon tank, 204 pounds dry for 8,000. And the 250SX is a 250cc 5-speed, 37.7 inch seat height, 1.9 gallon tank, 219 pounds dry for 9,000. And then the 300SX is a 300cc, everything else is the same for 9,200, only a $200 upgrade for that. That's it for the two strokes. We move to the motocross 4-stroke engines. We have a 250SXF. There is no factory edition on this one. It's just the regular SXF. If you remember the factory edition on the previous one, on the 2-stroke, had some upgrades and special graphics. There is no factory edition on this one. They had a 2022 version, but not for 2023. So 250cc 5-speed, 37.7 inch seat height, 1.9 gallon tank, 223 pounds dry, $10,000 for the 250SXF. 350SXF, 350cc engine for 10,700. 450SXF is a 450cc engine for 10,900. And now the 450SXF has a factory edition for 2023, and it's 228 pounds dry. It is 12,100, so a $1,200 upgrade for that. We now move to the Enduro bikes, 2-stroke engines. We have a 125XC, which is 125cc 6-speed, 37.5 inch seat height, 2.25 gallon tank for 8,250. 250XC is the 250cc version. Everything the same except a little bit heavier at 221 pounds dry. I don't have a weight on the 125, but this one is 10,800, a little over $2,000 more. The 300XC, 300cc engine for 11,100. And now we have the 150XCW. So the W on the end, I believe, stands for the WP upgraded suspension package. The 150XCW is a 144cc 6-speed, 37.8-inch seat height, 2.4 gallon tank, 213 pounds dry for $9,800. The 250XCW is a 250cc 6-speed, 37.8-inch seat height, 2.4 gallon tank, 228 pounds dry for $10,800. The 300XCW is $11,100. And then there's an Erzberger Rodeo. I hope I'm saying that right. Has some upgraded stuff, some upgraded graphics. It's named after, there's an Erzberger Rodeo, annual rodeo in Austria, and it is named after that, apparently. The Erzberger Rodeo version of the 300XCW. Alright, the Enduro 4-stroke engine. We have a 250XCF, which is the 250cc 6-speed, 37.5-inch seat height, 2.25 gallon tank, 224 pounds for $10,400. 350 is the 350cc engine for $11,400. The 450 XCFW now, the 450 has the WP upgraded suspension as the standard. That is a 450cc 37.8-inch seat height, $11,650. And then we have a 500 EXCF 6 days. All right, so this is named after a enduro race in France called 6 Days or something like that. Has graphics from that on the bike. It's 510cc for $13,550. I don't have any other specs. 350 EXCF now, 350cc. I don't have any specs for $12,150. The 500 EXCF is a 510cc. Again, no specs for $12,550. All right, and I think those are all single-cylinder engines as well. We now move on to the travel bikes or adventure bikes. So there is no 390 Adventure for 2023. There's still the 2022 version, but no updates for 2023. We start off with the 690 Enduro R, which is a 690cc 6-speed 35.8-inch seat. No other specs, no price listed. The 890 Adventure, 890cc parallel twin, I believe, 6-speed. The 890 Adventure R, same specs, some improved suspension. The 1290 Super Adventure R is a 1300cc V-twin, 6-speed. And then the 1290 Super Adventure S, which I don't have any information on as far as those types of specs that we've been looking at, other than that it's the same 1300cc V-twin engine as what's in the 1290 Super Adventure R. Alright, the supermotos. We have two versions. We have the 450 SMR, which is a 450cc 5-speed with a 1.9 gallon tank. No other info. And the 690 SMCR, which is your 690cc 6-speed engine. 35-inch seat height on this one with a 3.6 gallon tank, so definitely bigger. Again, no price information. We move on to the naked bikes, or the street bikes, whatever you want to call them. So there is no update for the 200 and the 390 Dukes version, so they do not have 2023 editions for 200 and 390 Duke. Alright, the 790 Duke is an 800cc parallel twin, 6-speed, 32.4-inch seat height, 3.7 gallon tank, no price. The 890 Duke R is an 890cc parallel twin, 6-speed, 33-inch seat height, 3.7 gallon tank, no price. And then the 1290 Super Duke R Evo, it's a 1300cc V-twin 6-speed with a 4.2 gallon tank. We move on to the sports, or as they call them, the super sports. There is no 2023 update for the RC390. So we move on to the RC8C. This is an 890cc parallel twin 6-speed, 32.3-inch seat height, 4.2 gallon tank, 313 pounds dry. And from what I can see, this looks like it is a racing only bike. It doesn't look like I'm not sure that it's street legal. It might be, I don't know. If somebody knows, leave a comment. But anyway, this is definitely a racing style bike. And that is all we have for the sports. And lastly, we have one sport touring bike. That is the 1290 Super Duke GT. Is the 1300cc V-twin engine with 6-speed with a 6.1 gallon tank. And no other information on that one either. I've typically talked about what I'd like to ride with each manufacturer. I don't see a whole lot in KTM that I do want to ride. Might want to try a 790 Duke, something like that. One of the Dukes. That's pretty much it. I'm not into adventure, supermoto, enduro, motocross, any of those kinds of things. So, probably one of the Dukes is about all I would really want to try. But I'm not even sure I'd want to try any of them because their seat heights are so high. So, and I know with some of these you can get special seats that lower the seat height on the bike. But they don't come stock with those. You have to special order, and it's an additional cost on that. And honestly, with not having any prices, my impression of the KTMs is that they're probably pretty expensive. They're probably for what you get on the bike. I would guess they're kind of overpriced. And this is just looking at the US version of the website, so I don't know if European versions or whatever have the full prices or not, if they're much better priced or more competitive. I don't know. They seem to be, when you're talking that an enduro bike 350cc is $12,000. That just seems really, a 500cc is $12,500. That seems really high price to me in terms of these kinds of bikes. I'd have to go back to the Jap bikes and Honda and whatnot and see what their prices are to compare. But I'm pretty sure this is pretty high, pretty high priced. It's also very possible that they've got very high quality parts and much more expensive parts on them, and that's why they're higher priced. So I get that. That's fine. But definitely not something I'm going to do much of anything with. So anyway, that's it for KTM. And I appreciate you watching. We're going to keep on going. Probably going to do either Moto Guzzi or Royal Enfield next. So keep watching. Thank you all for all your support.